first real gig I ever had was I did some shows with the Stooges at Max's Kansas City. I knew a lot about gear and a lot about PA even at that point. That was July 1973. So I did a good job, right? And in October, their tour manager called up and they said, the Stooges have these two really important shows at the Michigan Palace and we need your help. And being really green, I went, I got a car and I'll start driving tomorrow. And he actually said that. He went, no, there'll be a plane ticket for you in your name at Newark Airport, a round trip ticket, fly to Detroit Metro, and then hop a cab and come to the Hilton, which is right across the street from the venue, which is the Michigan Palace, right? And so I went, did those shows. They dropped me off at the airport. They were flying to Atlanta. I was going back to New York. And I was like, wow, someone just paid for me to go to another city, paid me to do these shows that were like insane. I mean, like if someone asked me, name the top 5 craziest shows, Stooges at the Michigan Palace were definitely one of them. But the other thing too is that when I got back to New York, it sort of changed everybody's view of me because I went from being the guy who ran the rehearsal studio at night to the guy that a real band making records flew to another city because they needed your help to make sure that it was really good. And one of those shows turns up being Metallic KO, which is a very famous bootleg.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I plugged the tape machine in. Michael Tipton was recording their shows. It was too nice the first night. He was late getting there, and we basically put up a pair of mics, and it was not so good. Right. So the next night is a board tape because we're listening back in the hotel. There's too much high end, but people look at me differently, right? And then started getting more sound gigs and more tech-like gigs and fixing things and the like, right? DOS, I did rehearsals with them starting before Jerry Nolan joined the band. They were the first band I ever saw do the entire thing from being a local sensation to the next thing you know, within a year, there's a record out and I'm flying out to LA to mix them on Don Kirshner's rock concert. You know what I'm saying?
That's a part of our world that translates today really brilliantly because sharing that experience and the things that inspired you and me to keep going at that point is really key.
Yeah, it wasn't the money. The money was weak.
No, it wasn't the money. I mean, the first real tour I did was really the Bob Dylan Rolling Thunder Review. I was paid $200 a week and $10 a day per diem.
I was paid $200 a week on Emerson, Lake and Palmer and $10 a day per diem. Emerson Lake, right? It was like, yeah.
I mean, by contrast, at our peaks, I would venture to say Bob and I have both been paid in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 times that per week. And 5 to 10 times that on terms and per diem, all these years later.
And had to suffer less for the money.
And yes, that's true. But we both enjoyed the suffering back then, admit it.
Yeah.